Hello, good morning once again. Welcome to the RDC-10 and RGADC-10 National Women's Month celebration kick-off activity, and happy International Women's Day to everyone. Okay, so before we start, may I request everyone to please stand for the invocation and please remain standing for the simultaneous flag raising and singing of the national anthem.
I pray you'll be arise and watch us where we go and help us to be wise in times when we don't know. Let this be our prayer when we lose our way. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace, to a place where we'll be safe.
Tumayo po tayong lahat at sabay-sabay nating awitin ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, pero sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dilim mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, dulot na ng magiging, sa manlulukin, di ka masisingil. Sa lahat ng lulok, sa sigat at sa langit mong babang, may ginagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang isang ng patawad mo'y talumpay na naglilingin, tuwing nag-araw na kailan pa may madilim. Lupa ng araw ng 100% buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang higaya ng pagpay makahamit, ang mga ray ng dahil sa'yo.
Let us now be seated. Okay, good morning once again. So this is to acknowledge all the participants from the LGUs, regional line agencies, national government agencies, and academe, and private sectors. Okay, so this part of the program, may I call on the NEDA Region 10 Regional Director, Ms. Myla Faye Aurora B. Carino, for her opening remarks.
Thank you, Ren. Ug maayong buntag kanatong tanan. On behalf of the Regional Development Council Chair, Governor Philip Tan, I wish to welcome you to this event. Governor Philip Tan is actually mobile. He's on his way to Davao, and his signal is quite choppy, so he wouldn't be able to join us much as he'd want to. So on his behalf, allow me to read his message. And I quote, I am delighted to welcome you all to this RDC-10 RGADC-10 virtual event as a kick-off activity of the 2021 National Women's Month celebration. The celebration of the Women's Month in the Philippines came into being with Proclamation number 227, series of 1988, providing for the observance of the month of March as Women's Role in History Month. This was further supported by Republic Act 6949, declaring March 8 of every year as National Women's Day. In this regard, the Regional Development Council 10 and its special committee, the Regional Gender and Development Committee, enjoin all member agencies, local government units, academic institutions, private sector, to undertake their respective programs, activities in observance of the National Women's Month. Consistent with the overall theme, we make change work for women. This year's observance is set on the COVID-19 pandemic backdrop, posing both challenges and opportunities for women. This morning, the Executive Director of the Philippine Commission on Women, PCW, Attorney Christine Newson, will expound on the significance of today's celebration of the International Women's Day. I would like to take this opportunity to thank PCW for their guidance and support to the RDC-10, RGADC as it leads in the mainstreaming of gender and development in the various development initiatives of Northern Mindanao. In line with the 2021 theme, Wana Laban sa Pandemya, Kaya, our activity today will highlight women's initiatives, experiences, and good practices amidst COVID-19. I would also like to thank our sharers, Ms. Angeli Ascuna Culiera, a woman volunteer from the Academe, and Ms. Maria Estrella Luz R. Piñalosa, a development worker and a public servant, and both environmental planners for their willingness and enthusiasm to share with us the various roles they have embraced as empowered women during these challenging times of the pandemic. We hope their stories would inspire more women to be more resilient and embrace the value of positivity toward a gender-fair society which is attuned to our ambition natin 2040 of a matatag, maginhawa at panatag na buhay. Let us all unite ourselves by supporting and recognizing the importance of this celebration for the whole month of March. And to cap it all, accept my warmest gratitude for your presence here today as we strive to sustain our endeavor towards gender equity and women empowerment in the region as foundation for sustainable and inclusive development. Mabuhay ang atong mga kababayan. Again, maayong buntag ug daghang salamat. And that ends Governor Philip's message. After the message of Attorney Yuson, your Secretariat of the RDC, which is the NEDA, will apprise you of the situation of the women in Region 10, as well as remind us of the role of women in nation building. Ren?
Thank you so much, RD Carino. So, in this part of the program, may I request everyone to please stand and let us dance to the groove of the song Juana, Ikaw na ang Manguna. This song is the 2015 National Women's Month Celebration theme song, music and lyrics by Nikki de los Santos Francisco, musical arranged by Diwa de Leon, and the video production was made by the Philippine Commission on Women. This song pays tribute to all women leaders who passionately led and continue to advance women's advocacies. Their key roles and accomplishments in leadership, power, and decision-making is highlighted in order to influence and break the conservative mindset and believe that politics and leadership are not for women. It also encourages awareness on engaging women to participate in all levels of policy and decision making and to share strategies and best practices women have employed to become successful women leaders. So, okay, I request everyone to please stand and let us dance to the groove of this song. Thank you.
Di magaganap ang pagbabago
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Live. Okay, let us take a moment to breathe. Okay, on this juncture, may I call on Attorney Christine Rosary E. Yuzon Chavez, the Executive Director of the Philippine Commission on Women, on her key message.
First, allow me to thank you for participating in the 2021 National Women's Month celebration. The National Women's Month celebration serves as a tribute, a platform, and a call to action that highlights the extraordinary roles of ordinary women in society as trailblazers and harbingers of change. This celebration is also a venue to discuss and address the issues that women continue to face so that real empowerment can be fully achieved. The campaign is also a call for concrete, sustainable, and inclusive actions towards gender equality. The impact of the pandemic is never the same, and COVID 19 is not an exception. In particular, the pandemic has affected women's and girls' access to social services, increased multiple burdens, disruption in economic activities such as job insecurities, food insecurities, and violence everywhere. Ensuring women's participation and leadership in all forms of life, including high-level decision-making processes at the national, regional, and local level is key. It is thus an opportune time for us to make use of this observance to discuss gender issues that the pandemic has exacerbated. This is a call to action for us to ensure that women's needs are responded to and integrated into the COVID-19 response and recovery programs. The Philippine Commission on Women has no regional offices, hence as an oversight agency mandated to monitor the implementation of the Magna Carta of Women down to the barangay level, and as part of our strategy to localize the MCW, we forged partnerships across the regions. Today, we also gather to celebrate and honor the strong women of our lives, the frontline workers who, despite the risks, continue to provide services, support, and protection to those most in need, such as the health workers, the teachers, service crews, social workers, police officers, and those in the defense sectors. The current events challenge us to continue to advocate more, to bring awareness and consciousness in our battle cry to empower and uphold the rights of women. In these trying times, where our significant gains and accomplishments are threatened, as duty bearers, let us work hand in hand so that the women and girls all attain a satisfying living condition. Our theme, Juana Laban sa Pandemya Kaya, perfectly encapsulates the spirit and grit of our enduring fight for equality. We are all part of this advocacy, all government agencies, private institutions, civil society organizations, academe, local government units from provinces to barangays, and every person can help address the continuing and emerging issues that hamper women's empowerment and gender equality. Therefore, we must work in solidarity towards the closure of the gender gap that to date no country has yet to achieve. I sincerely wish you success and a fruitful celebration of our National Women's Month. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Yuzon Chavez. Now, let us share to you a video presentation of El Gama Pinombra. We can be violence-free. This is a message conveyed by a shadow play group, El Gama Pinombra, after performing a shadow dance to the song Babae Bumangon Ka. The first ever grand winner of Asia's Got Talent depicted in their performance presented real-life situation that women and girls usually encounter, like domestic violence, sexual harassment in the work and education setting, and various forms of harassment in street and public places like stalking, leering, and whistling. This performance of El Gama Penombra gives us a ring that apathy leads to further perpetration of violence. This has to stop. We all have the power to choose and start changing our society into one that is violence-free.
ay sama-sama. Wakasan ng karahasan sa kababaihan, matutong manindigan sa iyong karapatan. Gabay mo ang batas sa pagsubil ng dahas. Bumangon ka, labanan ng karahasan. Babae, bumangon ka. Halaga sa lipunan, hindi mapapantayan. Bigyang kabuluhan, pagtahak sa tamang daan. Wakasan ng karahasan sa kababaihan, matutong manindigan sa iyong karapatan. Gabay mo ang batas sa pagsubil ng dahas. Bumangon ka, labanan ng babae, bumangon ka. Palayain ang sarili, madilim na lumipas. Harapin mo ang bukas nang may mababakas. Babae, bumangon ka. May buwang ka sa mundo upang tuluyang magbago. Di ka nag-iisa, tayo ay sama-sama. Wakasan ng karahasan sa kababaihan, matutong manindigan sa iyong karapatan. Gabay mo ang batas sa pagsubil ng dahas. Bumangon ka, labanan ng karahasan. Babae, bumangon ka. Halaga sa lipunan, hindi mapapantayan. Bigyang kabuluhan, pagtahak sa tamang daan. Wakasan ng karahasan sa kababaihan, matutong manindigan sa iyong karapatan. Gabay mo ang batas sa pagsubil ng dahas. Bumangon ka, labanan ng karahasan.
Now, let us proceed. Let us call on the NEDA-10 Regional Director, Ms. Myla Faye Aurora B. Carinias, SO3, for her message on the role of women in nation building.
Thank you, Ren. This is actually not a message, but more of an advocacy on the part of the RDC, that we must all advocate that women be active partners of development, not only in Region 10, but all over the world. This is the outline of my presentation. I will start with the context or the legal basis before proceeding to the discussion on statistics with gender perspective. I will also share a bit on the theme and highlights of this 2021 Women's Month celebration. Moving on, I will discuss the challenges faced by women, and then finally, looking at the imperatives towards moving towards achieving a more gender-fair society. There are already a number of internationally agreed norms and standards that reinforce the role of women in nation building, such as the 1990 Beijing Platform for Action, the 2003 and 2011 UN General Assembly resolutions on women's political participation, and the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women. The BPA served as the landmark document for advancing the rights of women and gender equality. The UN General Assembly resolutions affirm the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which states that everyone has the right to take part in the government of his or her country. CEDAW is the only human rights treaty which affirms the reproductive rights of women and targets culture and tradition as influential forces shaping gender roles and family relations. It affirms women's rights to acquire, change, or retain their nationality and the nationality of their children. Next, please. The need to strengthen the role of women in nation building remains as a priority as evidenced by the Sustainable Development Goals number 5, gender equality. This is to ensure women's full and effective participation and equal opportunities for leadership at all levels of decision making in political, economic, and public life. Women's role in nation building is also significant in achieving other global development priorities. For instance, Sustainable Development Goal number 6, ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Women are more likely than men to be responsible for tasks such as providing water for the family and using the water to cook and clean. Women, therefore, have the greatest understanding of the deficiencies that exist and can offer essential knowledge of how to advance their own rights by driving progress in development. To achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, it is critical for global leaders to encourage women's participation in nation building, particularly in governance, and amend policies that discriminate against women's participation and involve women's groups in policy making. Next, please. Achieving progress on the SDGs require government agencies to work across policy areas. With the passage of the Magna Carta of Women, the government has to serve as an example in providing equal opportunity for women and men. By virtue of their authority and control over resources, government agencies have the ability not only to improve the lives of women and men through their programs and services, but also to become God advocates with their clients and beneficiaries and with the other groups they work. Next, please. Thus, the observance of the Women's Month traces its roots in different movements in the 1900s, which highlights garment workers fighting for their economic rights and fair work hours. In December 1977, the UN General Assembly adopted a resolution proclaiming a UN Day for Women's Rights and International Peace to be observed on any day of the year by member states. In the Philippines, we have had the following issuances, and they serve as legal basis for the annual national campaign. Next, please. As the agency mandated to undertake continuing advocacy towards achieving gender equality and women empowerment, the Philippine Commission on Women has adopted the theme for the Women's Month celebration, We Make Change Work for Women, for 2017 to 2022. But for this year's campaign, we have the theme, Juana Laban sa Pandemya, Kaya, which poses both challenges and opportunities for women. This year's observance highlights women's participation in battling the pandemic, as well as discusses gender issues exacerbated by the pandemic. Next, please. Let me now proceed with a quick God situationer. There were 2,855,792 voters registered in the region for the 2019 national and local elections. Of this number, 1,438,992 or 50.4% were females and the rest males. Similarly, registered voters in the country also posted an almost 1:1 ratio. Of the 2,392 candidates in the 2019 elections, 80% are males and 20% females, posting a male-female candidate ratio of 4:1. Next. Of the 1,910 male candidates, 42% were voted to electoral seats, while 48% of the 482 female candidates won the elections. Despite a bigger percentage of female winners over the number of female candidates, women remain underrepresented in the electoral positions. Only one of the provincial governors in the region's 5 provinces is a female. There are only There's only one woman mayor of the 9 cities LCEs and only 2 women legislators of the 14 congressional districts in the region. Next, please. Of the 123 government agencies in the region, 78 or 63% are headed by men, while 45 agencies are headed by women. Membership of the 54 in the highest planning and policy-making body in the region, the Regional Development Council, is dominated by men with 38 or 70%. Female members comprise 30%. Of the 20 local chief executives, 3 are female, 17 are males. Of the 24 heads of the regional line agencies, equal, 12 females, 12 males. Of the 10 private sector representatives, 1 is female, 9 males. The underrepresentation of women at any level of governance and decision-making results in a democratic deficit. Women's equal participation and representation in decision-making processes is critical for prioritizing women's practical needs and issues, especially in the local government's agenda and for localizing the sustainable development goals. To deepen democracy at all levels, women and men must participate on equal terms in formal and informal decision-making efforts. Next, please. The 2020 inventory of the government resources revealed a little higher percentage of female workers in government at 53.3% at the national level and 51.8% for Region 10. Our region comprised about 5.1% to total government workers. Next, please. There were more females in the career positions than males. Human resources in the non-career position are dominated by males. Next, please. 2017 data on work and economic participation in Region 10 showed the following. 48.7% of the women population are in the active workforce. 94.4% of the working age women are employed. However, 15.2% of women in the labor force are underemployed, meaning employment is part-time when one needs full-time employment or not making full use of your skills or abilities. Statistics show that the most common occupation of both men and women in the region are laborers and unskilled workers. However, they vary in the major industry because women are mostly employed in wholesale and retail trade, while men are in agriculture and forestry. When it comes to average annual income by sex of household head, it shows that women who are household heads, mauni ha, ako i-underscore, women or who are household heads have higher incomes compared to men. Next. While there were more females in the career positions than males, elective positions are mostly occupied by males. Social work and engineering jobs in government are associated with women and men, respectively. Their reproductive function and productive roles saddle women with multiple tasks. Often, the situation is aggravated by the lack of support system, forcing them to almost single-handedly perform housework and child home care. This is still prevalent, no? Even sa karon nga sitwasyon. Women are subjected to various forms of abuse, physical, mental, and even economic in the workplace, on the streets, at home, and in media, even in the internet. VOW is a major development issue because it hinders women's attainment of their full human potential. Next, please. The UN Women Policy Brief number 18 emphasized the critical role of women's leadership and participation, especially in responding to COVID-19 and in preparing for a more equitable recovery. Next, please. In addition, pre-existing inequalities and discriminatory social norms need to be considered when developing new modes of participation and decision-making. They may need to initiate flexible working arrangements and other measures to ensure that women are not excluded from key government processes on account of the extra care and domestic work responsibilities. Social media and the internet are growing in importance as fora for information, consultation, and deliberation. Our government should consult with women's organizations when carrying out assessments and developing, implementing, monitoring, and evaluating programs and policies. That is why we need women at all levels of government and even in the private sector. including the top, to change the dynamic, reshape the conversation, to make sure women's voices are heard and heeded, not overlooked and ignored. Maayong buntag ka na tong tanan.
Thank you very much, RD Carino. The next part of our program is the sharing of experiences and good practices espousing the theme Juana Laban sa Pandemya Kaya by the two environmental planners of Cagayan de Oro City. So the first to share, she is a faculty of USTP Cagayan de Oro City Campus and a regional qualifier for the search for outstanding COVID-19 volunteers. So ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome ENP Angeli A. Coliera.
Hello, good morning everyone, members of the August Body of the Regional Development Council 10. It's a pleasure and a great honor for me to be able to celebrate with you this kick-off for the celebration of sa ato ang mga kababaihan. At the same time, to share our story on how as women have survived COVID, but not only survived, but also have contributed to the development of our communities. If I may, can I share my presentation? All right. So this is really, as I have mentioned earlier, this is really a great opportunity for us to share our story, because I believe that women stories are very important and significant to the participation of women in the community. Although, as presented by RD Carino, the participation of women in the Philippines, the gap is not that apparent, but however, there are still gaps present, and it is through stories that women's voices, women's aspirations are heard. I am, for a brief introduction, I have a day job, which is with the USTP Cagayan de Oro campus. Apart from teaching, I also hold one of the centers of the university, and that is the Center for Human Development. My story will be focused on sharing what we did during the pandemic, and that is the promotion of food security measures, at the same time, COVID conversations. So we understand last year was really like us placed in a volatile situation. Everything was placed on hold. Anxiety, anxiousness was very apparent sa ato ang communities, that the lockdown made people anxious, worrisome, and I mean, the fear of the unknown was really, really apparent. There were questions even like, what's next from here? Where do we go from here? Will I still be alive tomorrow? And then because of the lockdown, there were cries for food. There were cries for work, because sadly, daghan kayo siya mga ubay-ubay ng mga establishments nga nagsirado. So mounting uncertainties, there was fear of the unknown, and then there was depression. While I was at home contemplating on things, one evening I posted on my Facebook this article from Baguio City that says that the city, the veterinary office of Baguio, is distributing seeds so people can grow survival gardens. This
Ma'am,
has...
I cannot see your presentation.
Oh, really? I'm sorry. So I need to share? Okay,
Please
hold on.
share your presentation.
Oh, I thought it's already shared. How about it? Okay na?
Yes, ma'am, we can see na po.
Hold on ha, I'll just this in a slideshow presentation. Okay na po?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, is it now in a slideshow presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much for that. So as I was saying, March 26, about a year from now, I simply posted this article from the City Veterinary Office of Baguio that says that that they will be distributing seeds so that people can grow survival gardens. that was really so timely at the time, because in my room I was contemplating how can we help this mga anxiety sa mga tao, because we all experience that. Mounting kaayo siya ang fear of the unknown, fear of what will happen to me next. And amazingly, that post received a remarkable response. You can see here, which actually resulted to the creation of this movement that calls for the planting of survival gardens. On March 28th, we launched the fan page, GSK CDO, because we thought na sige, for CDO man siya. The initiative is for CDO nga mga urban dwellers, because as observed, kung inani siya nga mga pandemic, ang naa sa urban centers gid siya ang vulnerable, because of the nature of the urban centers, no? So the main objectives of that fan page and that movement was really for the promotion of food security, at the same time a diversion from the negativity of the pandemic, and we do that by distributing free vegetable seeds, at the same time capacitating our urban growers on how to grow their own survival gardens. But understanding it's COVID, there was restriction of movement, so we used the online platform. So with the negotiations, my team, we were all volunteers coming from various sectors. We have from the JCI, Cagayan Gold, and we also have from NGA, the Department of Agriculture. So we talked with the various agencies, and we were able to partner with the DA-10, City Agriculture Office, through the Office of City of Saraki Kalingin, and we were able to get seeds. And there were also non-governmental organizations like Tipid Tanim Challenge of Cotabato City who shared their seeds with us. And so that's how we started to roll out the distribution of the seeds. But initially, we started to scan first through the use of our Facebook as to who are willing to grow their survival gardens, and the response was overwhelming. So that's when we were like, wow, daghan jud siya nang hinahanglan og pagkaon. So what we did, because it's COVID, we designated pick-up points, and at the same pick-up points para ma-minimize ang exposure. So this is all over the city. We have designated pickup areas manned by volunteer friends as well, contacted, who are willing to slightly expose themselves in the distribution of the seeds. But we ensured this distribution of the seeds, we did not resort to the giving of the seeds house to house, because we ensure that kung mangadto sila sa pick-up points, there is willingness of the people to really grow their seeds. Okay, but of course, the seeds that we got from the City Agriculture, from the ones that we purchased based from the donations of the NGOs and generous individuals, were repacked at home initially. So you can see there, this has been the nightly activity in the home with my husband and the house help. And then we put the label, of course, para po siya mailhan. And USTP also was able to repack, because di na siya makaya ang daghan. So the office of the extension office of USTP also did some repacking of seeds, and then they also distributed the seeds. Now, we understand that the distribution of the seed is not enough, so we scheduled a webinar which was led by USTP Claveria and USTP CDO. So it was a 4-day event participated by garden enthusiasts from Visayas and Mindanao. Yes, we had participants from Visayas. So what we did, starting 3 to 4:30, Doc Apple and then a few of our colleagues also, you can see in the photo, these are faculty members from USTP, also shared tips on how to grow their vegetable garden. And amazingly, we surveyed the result of that. Through the GSK, we called on how kumusta ang ilahang mga pananom, and we got several results on that. These are few of these two I'll share, very meaningful. I'll share first the story of Casey. Casey Tado is a 7-year-old girl. She experienced depression because of bullying in the class. Now, her lola was one of the volunteer na distributors sa seeds. When they got the seeds, of course, they have access to the seeds, they planted. But amazingly, it was Casey who had a change of perspective in life from depression na medyo na-uplift iyahang self, because every day, she even has a video of this, she would wake up and tend to her garden vegetable. And this is the second story, is the story of teacher Elena, who was able to attend the webinar and was able to receive our vegetable seeds. So she turned their empty lot sa eskwelahan, and then they planted seeds. This is posted in her Facebook account. And apart from this, we partnered, GSK also, by the way, partnered with SK Tablon. We also gave from different barangays also. And we also have a partner, GSK Cebu, because of the sharing of stories. Ang GSK Cebu was launched. So they also are starting there now, their gulayan sa Kabalayan. Now, what's the way forward? Because as a result of the GSK, the City Agriculture Office, ATI 10, Green Minds, and USTP signed a memorandum of commitment to promote urban gardening. But it's 2021 already. We understand that the seed distribution was only the beginning of this project. So for 2021, GSK partnered with Kids Who Farm, of course, the existing partners like DA, Glenro including, and USTP will be promoting and strengthening community gardens in the city. And hopefully, if some of our members in the RDC would want to replicate this project, we'd be willing to share it with you. Okay. Another advocacy that we did with during the pandemic, because we understand the value of sharing stories, was on COVID conversations. Now, I myself already have this advocacy show that was initially aired via TV through Hope Channel Philippines. But because of pandemic, restricted ang movement, so we have to think of ways on how we still can share stories that relates to uplifting stories, empowering stories. So in July of last year, by the way, before that, In Harmony, we gained awards from Oro Calimpio and Globe Media Excellence Awards, being an advocacy TV show that promotes environmentalism, primarily the protection of and the promotion of good stewardship in the physical and social environment. So because it's COVID, we transitioned to the use of the social media. So what we did, we had like a sort of a podcast. We invited guests and we tackled on issues, but we did not just talk about issues. The bottom line is that we would be able to share with our viewers some tips on how they can survive this pandemic. So you can see here, right now we are already in our second season. We started in July. We ran out of and initially we had it every Saturday and Wednesday in the afternoon, but understanding that we all are working, so now we have agreed that we will we will have the episodes every Saturday at 2:00 in the afternoon, and this is aired via our Facebook page in Harmony TV. So the question is, like, I was asked even, like, giunsa nimo, why are you doing this? And makaya ba di ay nimo, babae man ka? No? I actually was able to ponder on that, like especially towards the end of the year last year. I looked back and said, wow, unsa na di ang akong nabuhat, and what has become of the community that I radiate into. Now, primarily, it all starts with like the belief siguro that babae ka, you are never secondary to the community, because as the Bible says, women are clothed with strength and dignity. And even she laughs without fear of the future. So I'm sorry, but this might sound an uncomfortable brag, but I admit medyo siya uncomfortable sa ako at to like ano ako ang self, but pardon me for that because I'm not used to telling how I am. But looking back, I believe I was able to accomplish this, and us, it's not just I, but my team and I was able to accomplish this. Women and men, it's because of the belief of ourselves. It starts with believing in yourself that we can do things, that we can achieve things. It's just a matter of knowing on what you want to do and where you want to go, and anchoring that belief in the faith that God is with you, guiding you in all the ways. Second thing that I consider as essential to why we're able to accomplish this is that because we were surrounded with empowering, uplifting, and inclusive na mga people in the community. That's when I say when institutions are empowering, uplifting, and inclusive, everyone will become great in their own unique ways. No, because as I was talking to Saraki, as I was talking to DA10, to RD, I didn't see myself as a woman. I see myself as a person who has this responsibility and obligation to make and contribute something to the development of the community, or somehow man lang maski pandemic, at least ease the burden that the pandemic has given to us people. So this would be my last slide siguro, no. For us women out there, it is essential. You know, there are hindrances. There are always doubts in ourselves. There are always second guessing. But it helps if you surround yourself with dreamers, the doers, the believers, the thinkers, but most of all, people. Surround yourself with people who see the greatness within you, even when you don't see it yourself. Sharing with you this quote by Edmund Lee. Thank you so much, RDC-10, RD Carino, for this opportunity to share with you our story of empowering women and making women part of the development process in our community. Thank you, and mabuhay, and happy International Women's Day.
Okay, thank you so much, ENP Angelica Liera. That was really a great sharing, ma'am, and truly inspiring. So the second share is our very own NEDA-10's Senior Economic and Development Specialist of the Project Development, Investment, and Programming and Budgeting Division. Please help me welcome ENP Maria Estrella Luz or Peñalosa.
Hello, Ren.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to our regional director, RD Popop, who's also one of the inspirations, perhaps, for many women leaders in our region. Good morning to my colleagues at NEDA. Good morning, everyone. When I was requested by the Secretariat to share my story, medyo, I don't know kung unsa akong na-feel at that time. I was excited, but at the same time, confused, or not really confused, but immediately what came into my mind is, do I have something to share? But maybe when at the second thought, I was thinking, when they decided to choose me, there must be something they see in me that is worth sharing for all the women on this very remarkable day, the International Women's Day. So thank you to the Secretariat, and thank you also to the Regional Gender and Development Committee and the RDC. Okay, so I would like to share my story. For a while lang po ha. Hello, hello din. Oo. Ang, ang original director, di, kadili na, ako na nag-talk doon. Sorry. Okay, so I would like to share today a story not only about myself as a household head, but a story about the many women I met who, in their own ways, were empowered and who were able to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic, especially during the time of the lockdown. Okay, so this is my Laban story, and a Laban story that is a story of many women whom I met, and also a story inspired by many strong women at NEDA and even strong gender advocates at NEDA. So, just a brief background, I have worked with NEDA for 17 years, and I am blessed to be working with. First, I worked with NEDA with two lady bosses who are very empowered and development oriented in their own way, and even one of them is recognized as among the Lingkod Bayan awardee, no, and an exemplary woman whom I still work with, being an environmental planner these years. No, so si um, RD Balandra, former RD Balandra. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay. So this is my Laban storyline, how I overcome the COVID-19 pandemic, especially during the lockdown. First is I am thankful to technology and the internet. By the way, my name is Estrella, but most of my friends and my colleagues call me Star. And then second is Estrella and her grit. Grit is passion and perseverance. So later I will expound on that. And then third is Estrella with her God-oriented or God-sensitive networks. So gender and development, where NEDA was mandated to be on top of pushing for gender and development. I can proudly say that because of the many trainings, the many orientation, most of our men at NEDA, I can call them as gender advocates or God advocates. Okay, so that is my a brief overview of how I will share to you my Laban story. Next, please. Okay, so first is I could have not overcome COVID-19, or we at NEDA could have not overcome COVID-19 if there is no technology. No, technology improves women productivity. So I am a working woman with 3 boys to nurture and raise. I am a wife to a frontline husband, although he is not medical professional, but he is a rescuer at the CDRRND of LGU Cagayan de Oro. But I am thankful, no, because technology, like a washing machine, a rice cooker, a cell phone, a laptop, and a fiber internet connection, that is the reality during COVID-19. Without this technology, we could have maybe daghan na tag na cross stitch karon, daghan na tag na knit karon, no, nakanit na tag jacket. I could have learned sewing, no, because technology allowed us to have control of our time while working at home. Although it allowed us to work, no, wala kaayo regular work schedule during the, especially during the lockdown. But I have control of my time to wake up at 6 o'clock, do the laundry while the water is on, because here in my place, mawala among water at 8 o'clock. So I have to wake up at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, do the laundry through the washing machine while I cook in the rice cooker and cook breakfast. So technology improves women. And I would like to share a story of my house help, Inday, who um, still, no, I do not believe na until now, there are still many women who doesn't have even access to the gas stove, fuel. They have to look for um, mga kahoy, panggatong, no? Pangsugnod. They have to look for those stuff to be able to cook. And then um, and she has a second grader who needs whom she needs to mentor, no? And fortunately for her, there are people who are willing to lend her cellular phone, no? Because during the time of the pandemic, mag-module ka and you don't have enough of the stock knowledge, you really have to connect to the internet to be able to answer the modules. Like me, I may have learned siguro na pa ko'y stock knowledge, but dili na ta ka-remember, no? Anang mga lesson on kabesa de barangay, encomendero. You really have to search it through the internet to be able to review, no, what you have learned in the past and nurture or mentor your children. So I would like to also share, next slide please. The Philippines is among the top 10 countries in the Inclusive Internet Index. So this is a study commissioned by Facebook in partnership with the Economist Intelligence Unit. No? So naa sila'y indicators na they have a rank, no, many countries, and our country, the Philippines, we belong in the lower middle income. We are top 7 in terms of internet inclusive, no, inclusive internet index, meaning there are men and women, and even women have more access, no, to the internet as compared to men. 12%, there are 12% women who have more access to the internet as compared to men. So really, the the question now is, which allow me to share this with you, my presentation pala, share some of my experience and then a little bit of reflection. So next slide, please. So my reflection really is COVID-19 accelerated our capacity to adapt to the fast-changing digital world. No? So dugay na kaayo na, I can still remember when I was still in high school, 2000, year 2000, sikat kay sa amo at the time ang Y2K. Because it's the millennium, many people believe na ma-end na ang world or there could be changes in the world. So at that time, gipangutanan namin sa mong high school teachers, how do you foresee year 2000? And at that time, I can still remember that was like 25 years ago or 30 years ago. Unsa imong pagtan-aw? And we were already talking about shopping online. Dili na kailangan ang malls. But it really took 25 years, no, for us to do that, or even 20 years for us to adapt. But COVID-19 accelerated our capacity to adapt to the fast-changing digital world. Kailangan nato mo learn. So the key is literacy, no? How to collaborate using technology, using the internet. And willingness, no? Kaya kung wala tay willingness to harmonize work and personal life, we could have not attain balance, no? Kailangan i-harmonize. When we say harmonize, meaning you are able to work at the same time, look after our children. So I think for me personally, the good thing nga ako lang sa COVID-19 is I can work at home, but at the same time, physically be present with my children. Because pre-COVID, there were times that we have to work more than 8 hours to be in the office. And the worry, the anxiety also, if okay ra atong mga anak, nakakaon ba silang tarong, that was also the dilemma pre-COVID when you have to do overtime. But during COVID, halag alas 11 na kamuhuman sa imong trabaho, but you know that you are safe in your home. So although there is not really an advantage side of it, but um, really it enabled me to harmonize my work and my personal life. But the challenge here is how can we maximize women's and girls' access to the internet to be more productive? No? Kay many of us have access to internet, but kung nagsige ra ta og post, dance, TikTok, that is also detrimental to the economy and even to the um, welfare of women. And the second challenge is how do we ensure that the internet is a safe place for women and girls, no? Okay, because we know nanggamit na sad ang internet, no? For human trafficking, for sexual abuse, cyber abuse, no? So that is now the challenge. Okay. Next slide, please. Second that I would like to share is grit. No? Grit. I read and I have seen one of this talk of Angela Duckworth, a psychologist. Grit in her book is about focused persistence and perseverance. No? So um, during the COVID-19 pandemic, there were really times when there are instructions, there are tasks that we need to do as public servants. So public service is a mission, no? So if you work in government, sa ila pang ginaingon, if you really work in government, you're not there to make money, but to live up to the mission of public service to serve our people. So during the COVID-19 lockdown, the people rely more on the government for safety and peace of mind. And I would like to emphasize the leadership, no, of our women leaders at NEDA, particularly our regional director, because uh, we understand that it was not so if for us workers, dili too easy sa amo at the time to work with uncertainty, how much more, no, to our directors, to our leaders who are given the task, no, to harmonize, to allow a harmonious actions, no, of fighting COVID-19 at that time. So um, really, if we are passionate of our calling to be public servants, we persist in something na even if there are obstacles, we have to deliver. And I think many of our women colleagues at NEDA do that, no? Because many also of our women colleagues are household heads, no? And then second is persevere with faith, no? So kung persistence lang and perseverance, okay na siya. But for me, I think what made me overcome also the pandemic is the faith, you know, of divine providence. So I have a mother who is also one woman who persevere with faith, and she became an example. So I had na ko na realize, no, during that time when you have more time to reflect. So there are times when I became indifferent with my relationship with people. No? So I have to be honest. Even there were times when I have to be indifferent with my husband, but not indifferent with my God. So kanang there was one time I joined this talk. Kanang faith bitaw na you just believe there is something greater at greater than you, no? Greater than you, that can control more of what you can't control. And third is resilience. For me, is a choice. No, so it's a dynamic combination of optimism, creativity, and confidence. So during the time of the pandemic, naamang yung daghang demand for work, but you have to be positive and creative. Creative even in the sense of um, arranging your physical home to be conducive to the children, that dili gubot, because I cannot work well kung gubot. So dapat ma-organize na daan, easy na ko ma-reach ang mga gamit, no? So and even also kanang arranging your time, to be creative how to manage your time, no? So that is another trait that I think helped me overcome the pandemic. And then even the resilience sometimes, like because sometimes ma-focus to sa work, and then we cannot focus more on nurturing our children. I also encourage, no, and adapt to technology. So sometimes my children have to watch, I have to look after unsa ilang gina-watch sa YouTube, and then di naman gyud nato, no, mabangbang ng mga unfortunately, and sorry for the if I have to express this, there are some modules, no, in the learning modules na you have to teach values with your children, but with the double kuan bitaw kanang values mo good every day, no, every day nimo i-teach to your children. So although we have to answer to the modules, which is I think edukasyon sa pagpakatao is Tagalog. Sometimes dili ma-understand sa akong mga anak. So what I do is I allow them to watch a coach, no, Darman's. Actually sila rin na discover ani where he teaches values, no, in families, work. So ana gyud, para-paraan na lang gyud na while you're working, you can still allow your children, no, to read valuable or to watch valuable videos, no, that can also supplement how you will teach them. So my reflection, next slide please. COVID-19 pushes us to be more strategic, to focus our resources to what truly matters towards a better quality of life for ourselves and for others. So the challenge is, how can we maximize or optimize children and parents' passion for YouTube, Roblox, TikTok, Facebook, or online browsing to improve learning outcomes? So kana siya ang challenge na akong would like to share with you. And then next is next slide, please. Network with fellow women and with gender advocates for mental and physical health. So, nakatabang yun kaayo ang ako ang pagmingle and pag-talk with fellow women, and I realized that daghan gyud tag mga struggle, no, especially that I met with my former high school friends. We met every Sunday. We have to go walking, so amo gyud ang schedule. We call it the Sunday breakfast club, and it is that time when we share, no, and then share insights, share reflections, and it helped us because women, we are, and even men, we are social being. So another aspect also is I am blessed also to have worked with gender advocates. So ako ang duha ka men nga bosses. They are gender and development advocates, no? So they understand the plight of women who's working double sa word pa sa ako ang division chief, double burden, but he understands, no? And even the way he approach how to instruct, how to relay instructions from the management, it's gender sensitive because he understands what we were going through. So when men are gender sensitive, there is harmony. So God sensitive men leaders. So dili lang ta siguro mag-struggle for women to be leaders, but to have God sensitive men leaders to make life comfortable for women and girls. Okay, so my reflection for this is, next slide. COVID-19 deliberately connects and reconnects men and women's relationships with self, others, and the world. So the challenge is, how can we produce more gender and development advocates? No? Dili ka na bitawng feeling nga nakig-contest ta sa men, but really, how can we produce God leaders? More men talking about God. More men talking about equality of men and women. So kana ang challenge for me, especially that I have 3 boys. How can I impart to them that in the future, when they become their leaders in their own field, they are God sensitive? So to end, next slide, please. So how do I overcome any pandemic, I think, from COVID-19 experience? So in the presence of technology, adopt and adapt. No? And then persevere, have that grit, persevere for the long-term benefits. And I think that is also the wisdom of our women leaders and our women management at NEDA. And third is network, connect and reconnect. Connect with our friends, connect with our family, reconnect with our colleagues or friends or family. So lastly, in my sharing, my last slide. So Juana, Estrella, Inday, whoever you are, stay inspired, evoke and lift. We lift other women and lift also our men to become gender advocates, gender and development advocates. So thank you very much to RDC, to our regional director, our assistant regional director, and to the NEDA for allowing me and for giving me the opportunity to share how I overcome the pandemic. So maayong buntag sa tanan, and I hope that you were also inspired with my sharing.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Star. That was indeed a very inspiring love and story, ma'am. So on this juncture, we would like to express our heartfelt thanks and appreciation to our 2 women sharers, ENP Angeli A. Collera and ENP Maria Estrella Luz R. Peñalosa, for sharing their own Juana Laban sa Pandemia story, providing inspiration to all of us that we can do something and contribute in our own way to overcome the challenges that women face, especially at this pandemic time. We salute your initiatives and endeavors, and we are grateful for sharing them with us today in the occasion of the International Women's Day. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, the next part of our program is a video presentation. 1 billion rising is the biggest mass action to end violence against women, cisgender, transgender, and those who hold fluid identities that are subject to gender-based violence in human history. The campaign, which launched on Valentine's Day in 2012, began as a call to action based on the staggering statistics that 1 in 3 women on the planet will be beaten or raped during her lifetime. With the world population at 7 billion, this adds up to more than 1 billion women and girls. Ladies and gentlemen, let us present to you the music dance video of the NEDA-10 to the song 1 Billion Rising.
Bakit nga ba di mabubuhay ang bayan kung walang kababaihan? Ngunit kung tayo'y saktan parang walang hanggan. Bakit nga ba nakaguhit sa ating mukha na tayong lahat ay biktima ng kalupitan, karahasan, pilit tayong dinadapa? 1 bilyong babae ang Ito na ang ating panahon. Bangon, bangon. No one can put us down, no one can hurt us now. Rise up and fight, rise up from the ground. Bangon, bangon. No one can put us down, no one can hurt us now. Rise up and fight, rise up from the ground. Titigil ng panggagahasa, huwag matakot at lumaban na. Tama na ang pang-aabuso, tumayo tayo, kaya natin ito. Biyong babae ang babangon, tayo ang Gabriela ng ating panahon. Bangon, babae, bangon. Ito na ang ating panahon. Itaas ang kamay, itaas ang kamay, at tayo'y lalaban ng sabay-sabay. Bawat tindak, bawat galaw, buong kataway sumisigaw. Bangon, babae, bangon. Ito na ang ating panahon.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Let us continue the fun time. Let us proceed to our little game, the God trivia. So the mechanics of this game, each item consists one series of visual clues representing a word or phrase relating to God. The objective of the game is to guess the hidden word by typing it in the chat box. The first person to identify the word or phrase wins the round. We will monitor answers entered in the chat box. We will contact the lucky winners for their prizes. So are we ready? Okay, all participants are encouraged to join the game. One set of pictures will be shown on the screen for a maximum of 1 minute to form a word or phrase. Category, God-related words or phrases. Write your answer in the chat box. No limit on the number of answers per participant. The first participant who can provide the correct answer within the time limit will be the winner. So let us do a trial round. Okay, the first person to guess. Trial round. Okay, the correct answer is human rights. Okay, are we ready now? Are we ready? Okay, let's proceed to our number one item. All right. Ready, go. Okay, we have a correct answer from LTO, Miss Vera. All right, congratulations, ma'am. The answer is violence against women and children. Violence against women and children. Okay, number 2. Okay, write it in the chat box. Okay, we already have a winner. Okay, the first one to answer is still Miss Vera, pero for um yes, so since she was the last winner of the previous item, so we'll proceed to Miss from Medina Foundation College. Okay, walay name naka-indicate. So congratulations, whoever you are, ma'am or sir. Medina Foundation College. Okay, the correct answer is sexual orientation and gender identity. So let's proceed to item number 3. Okay, we have our winner. Okay, we have our winner from NEDA Region 10, Miss Australia Luz Arpenia Loza. The correct answer is Safe Spaces Act. Okay, well, as usual, Miss Vera of LTO still got the first answer correctly. Okay, let's proceed to number 4. Timer starts now. Okay, we have a winner from the PPDO Bukidnon. The correct answer is Magna Carta of Women. Right, so let's proceed to item number 5. Right? Okay, we have a winner, Mr. Christopher Balaba. Sorry. Miss Precious Emerald Tapio, I'm sorry. Our first participant to write the correct answer is Miss Precious Emerald Tapio of BLJF. The correct answer is gender equality. Jean, Jean minus S. All right, let's proceed to item number 6. Okay, so wala pa yung nakakuha sa sakto nga answer. Okay, keep guessing, keep guessing. Okay, we have a winner na. Okay, the first one to write the correct answer is Medina Foundation College, which was already a winner from the previous item. So let us call the winner for this round, LGU CDO, Mr. Nathaniel Soliano. The correct answer is Wonder Who Ana. Okay, let's proceed to item number 7. Okay, we already have the correct answer. As usual, Miss Vera of LPO got the correct answer first, but since she was already a winner from the previous item, the winner for this round is LGU El Salvador. The correct answer is National Women's Month. Okay, let's proceed to item number 8. Okay, we have a winner. Our winner for this round is the PPDO Lanao del Norte. The correct answer is God mainstreaming. Congratulations, PPDO Lanao del Norte. Okay, let's proceed to item number 9. Okay, wala pa yung nakakuha sa correct na answer. Keep guessing ka, ma'am, sir. Okay, wala pa. Keep guessing. All right, time's up. So for this round, no one got the correct answer. But the correct answer is anti-sexual harassment law. So anti-sexual harassment law. Okay, si Ma'am Vera kulang og sexual imo ang anti-ma'am. All right, so let's proceed to the last item, item number 10. Okay, we have a winner. Okay, our winner is Miss Angel Ascuna Coliera from USTP. So the correct, congratulations ma'am, the correct answer is International Women's Day. So International Women's Day. Thank you so much. Congratulations to all the winners and happy International Women's Day, everyone. We will contact the winners for the prizes. Thank you. Okay, let us proceed to our program. may I call on the co-chairperson of the RDC or GADC-10 and the director of the Research Institute for Mindanao Culture. Please let us welcome Dr. Chona R. Chavez for her closing remarks.
Uh, Thank you very much. Can I be heard? Is my audio okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So, to our RDC chair, Honorable Governor Philip Tan, who is now mobile and on his way to Davao, our Vice Chair and NEDA Director, who is very active in intellectually and pragmatically guiding with the chair in integrating gender with the highest planning and policy making body in the region. And for that, we are really fortunate. And one strong woman, not only in the region, but the country, that is Miss Myla Faye Aurora Bicarino. Our stakeholders from various line agencies, private and NGOs, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. So as I give this closing message for today's kickoff activity for the month-long celebration of Women's Day, I would like I would like to reiterate the theme for this year's celebration and echo the messages given by the earlier speakers that we, all caps, together with women and men, girls and boys, make change for women. I would like to highlight the key points raised by Director Carino. We tend to pat our backs how the country fared when it comes to leveling the playing field for women and men. However, statistics still give us a picture that more still needs to be done. There are areas that we need to ponder and do something, specifically on the democratic deficit, the multiple burden that is still a problem, vow also, and underemployment, and many more. I am not, of course, not noting that more women and men hold career positions in the government in Region 10. But then, decision-making role is still lopsided and unequal as it is held mostly by men. This month, we reflect the progress made to call the change and to celebrate acts of courage and determination by distinguished and ordinary women as well, who played extraordinary roles in places where they are, especially in this time of the pandemic. We have witnessed the service and help these people had made as frontliners, carers in the hospitals, isolation and quarantine areas, and homes. And that the country, of course, that's operating in our own locality, in our country, and the world. We heard from Ms. Coliera of USTP CDO Campus and Ms. Maria Estrella Luz Peñalosa of NEDA-10 or Mommy Star with their points and reflection points. We are inspired with the stories they shared. We salute the trailblazers who open paths for us, incredible women who break glass ceilings, worthy of our admiration. But we also salute the women who never made it at the news, those that commute with us in the jeepneys and motorellas, who face everyday struggles, those who clean our homes and workplaces and our streets. For each one to appreciate our own accomplishments and reflect how important our own struggles. Yes, we aim to contribute to the wider and bigger arena, but we also appreciate acts of beating the odds, especially at times of the pandemic, in our own individual ways. Challenging status quo in small but significant ways that this generation and the next will not tolerate inequalities and inequities. Inspiring stories, and we honor both big and small names who are actors in this narrative. In other words, it is for all of us. It is a month to share and spread the word and awareness among people uh, women, on women's role in history, their social and economic and political achievements. But this is not just a month-long celebration because for each year, but we celebrate this each day in our lives. We advocate for the rest, that is outside of our realm to see. No, that's the public world. But what matters the most is how we live our lives and how we treat people, family and household members, colleagues and friends, and even strangers as we walk our talk, and indeed that indeed we support the quest for gender equality and equity and that of women's empowerment. So it's not just how what we show outside, but also what's within and what we believe in. Yes, we share stories of challenges and difficulties, what did not work, and how they can be addressed. And more so, we continue to share inspiring and uplifting stories of what works. The use of technology, adapt and adopt, perseverance, and the connection and connectedness, our dances and dancing, our games in our advocacies. So, cheers to a more peaceful and kinder world. Let us support Juana Laban sa Pandemya, Kaya, to the dreaming and acting on our dreams. A very good day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chona R. Chavez. So before we leave everyone, uh, can we have a photo op requesting everyone to turn on their cameras, please? Okay, again, thank you so much for your participation to this RDC-10 and RGADC-10 National Women's Month celebration kickoff activity. Let us continue to be God advocates. So are we ready now? Okay, okay. Smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, next page. Smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, next page. 1, 2, 3. Smile. All right, next page. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay, kindly turn on your cameras, please. Next page. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay, that was the last one. Thank you so much, everyone, for participation.
Thank you. Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day, everyone.
Ma'am Chona, thank you for your very inspiring message. That was a very fitting closing to our opening program. Thank you, Ma'am Chona.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
as well.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone. We will email the CFS client feedback survey to your respective email spot. Thank you so much.